Okay, hello everyone. I'm really happy to see such great attendance at the first Slovenian Esports and Gaming Meetup. So we've had this offline before the epidemic, but I'm really happy that we put ourselves together again, this time in an online version, but nevertheless, really great numbers and really great to see all of many known and quite some unknown faces. First of all, what's the point of these meetups? Okay, so this is the first of now what will become a monthly regular event. So once a month, I would be really happy for us to meet here, to see here. And the point is to, first of all, get to know each other, share the experiences of those who already build something or are building something in this domain. And we are talking both locally in Slovenia or in the region, but also not just locally, but also worldwide, globally. So the goal is also to invite anyone who can share their experience with us, even from abroad. And that's why also we are having these meetings in English, because we are really open and inviting people globally to join us. The other half of this is not just hanging and sharing opportunity, sharing experiences. We would really love to also explore the opportunities that are here. So not just talk about what is, what isn't, but what could be done, what we could do together, what could be developed, what we could evolve, both on a, let's say, individual professional level, but also on a business or entrepreneurial level in terms of companies or NGOs, right? Or even like we have now the Federation of Esports Federation of Slovenia in this kind of sense. And the last point is to create a community, to create an ongoing community. And like I said, I see many faces that I don't yet recognize here. And I would be really happy if in a couple of months I'd be able to tell that most of these faces are already familiar. About me, Tom Vodopivec, you can see from the name, I'm the founder and CEO of Reveris Accelerator for esports. Today, actually, we are streaming first time for a first meetup event from our venue. You can still see some cables hanging down from the ceiling. This was on purpose for dramatic effect, you know. And the point is, what will we be doing? We are setting up for next year an environment, and this is not meant just as a physical space, but we're meant as an environment, as a meeting point, source of knowledge, source of inspiration for creating new ideas, for developing talent, for developing companies, developing professionalism in the field of esports and gaming and game development. I regard it in this field too, right? So that's the purpose of Reveris, and that's why I also started these meetups, to get a sense of community and to get together. Now, enough of me and who we are. It's just for the context that you know that there is a long story going on around here. It's just the beginning, right? And immediately let's go into the topic of today. So we'll be talking about esports in a post-epidemic world. Actually, I misphrased the topic. It's a post-pandemic, or it's still mid-pandemic. We'll see, right? It's more than an epidemic, that's for sure. So this is what we'll be talking today about. And before we go into the discussions, I would love if those who feel comfortable turn on the cameras. It's so great to watch 20 faces, how they react, how they follow the speakers, and also smile with the speakers, or cry with the speakers, or cringe for the speakers. It doesn't matter. It's just great to look at people, you know? So that's one thing, if you can. And the other thing, I would suggest you in Zoom, on Zoom settings, pick on top right the view, set the gallery view. I mean, set the view you wish, but if you set the gallery view, that's the one I prefer the most, because you really see everyone on the screen at the same time. That said, I will jump into the presentation of the three guests. Okay, so we go into the content. Today we're going to hang out for around 1 hour. So that's the official part. The last time the meetups can also extend into several hours, but 1 hour, let's say, is the expected. So for this first occasion, we have invited three friends, three entrepreneurs, professionals, very active persons on the very active people on the scene here in Slovenia, but also having already a global impact. Actually, all three of them are internationally already entangled, how to say. And I'm happy to present that we have here Nuša Klepec. She's a performance coach for, hello Nuša.
Hey.
Okay, for esports team. She's a psychologist. She's a gaming and content manager, the leader of content manager at Spid, and at Logout. She's a consultant for gaming addiction and, let's say, responsible gaming, responsible digital technologies. So that's Nuša. Then we have Patricija Potisk here. She's the hello, hey Patricija. She's the vice president and the co-founder of the Esports Federation of Slovenia. She's also the co-founder of the NGO Outset and the co-founder and the successful businesswoman, entrepreneurial woman, right, in the startup Twire. And the third guest that we have today is Matic Mele. Yeah, and the whole company. Hey. Hey. I have him down there. I don't know where is it. He's on your screen, and he's here as one of the first successful entrepreneurs in developing an esports specific esports oriented technology, let's say, platform, which is eFlamingo. He's the co-founder and CEO at eFlamingo. I'm really happy that the whole team joined there, which is I will let him tell what this is about. I just introduce quickly the speakers. So I will ask each of the speakers to tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience, I already know, tell the audience a little bit about yourself so that you validate why you are even, let's say, eligible to talk here, right? So let's say I will start with Nuša, please.
Okay, let me do the honors. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for inviting me, first of all. My name is Nuša Klepec. I'm a psychologist and I graduated from Faculty of Arts in Ljubljana. So I have a master's degree in psychology. My love for games goes like way back. I loved playing games since I was little, but I was first like more introduced to competitive gaming when I started to play League of Legends. And this whole concept of competitive gaming, of live audience, of preparation, of stress, of demanding environment was something that was like really fascinating to me when I first met with it. And I have like, even now I have like the most respect for competitive players. So I decided to start researching what's behind it. What kind of psychological preparation do these players need to be able to compete and perform at highest levels? And this was also the topic of my master's thesis. And so now I'm kind of trying to establish myself as a performance coach. I'm currently also working with an Austrian organization, TTW, working with League of Legends roster and Counter-Strike roster, and trying to build with them strong positive mindsets to be able to compete, to be able to overcome obstacles and whatever issues they face. So I think this is like a really important part of being a performance coach, and I think of being a professional or semi-professional athlete, esports athlete, the mindset is a really strong part of it. So I think this field, it will be even more developed in the future. Yeah, and also, like you said, I'm also working at Logout as a counselor. So we're a clinic for digital well-being. We help people who overuse technology or are addicted to technology, and we help them to establish more healthy lifestyle and to kind of balance the technology and their lifestyle. And besides that, yeah, I'm also part of the organization SPID-C. I think it's been 8 years now, so quite a lot of time now. So here I do I help with organizing events and tournaments. I'm administering a lot of tournaments, especially in League of Legends. I do hosting I do interviewing with players and yeah, creating content whenever I can. So no matter how you put it, like my life is basically filled with gaming and esports.
All around, all around.
Yeah, all around, no matter which part of it you look at.
Yeah. Great, thanks. You mentioned about the motivational factor and the psychological factor. We might come back to this towards the end of today's discussion. We will be discussing actually what needs to be improved or how to improve. That's a big aspect with many people we are talking with emphasize that this is a big thing, right, in setting up successful esports team if we're talking about these things, right?
Yes.
Okay, thanks Nuša. Patricia, what about you?
Hello, I'm Patricija Potisk. I'm 26 years old. I'm originally from Maribor, but now for the 10 years now I live in Ljubljana. I'm a co-founder of Twire. That's an esports data company concentrated on the stats and analytics. We are currently supporting PUBG, but we'll soon add Valorant and CSGO. We received a pre-seed round in October investment, and we'll soon receive a seed round in the start of the next year.
Double congrats.
Thanks. I'm also a vice president and a founding member of newly established Esports Federation of Slovenia. Our goal is to unify and promote esports in Slovenia and globally, and to regulate the competitions and standardize the rules of them. Besides that, I'm also a president and a founding member of esports association named Outset. We are helping them establish esports clubs, and we're offering them professional and technical help. I casually play games since young age, but the last 4 years I'm quite involved in esports, and that's it. That's me.
Thanks, Patricia. Yeah, I was waiting. You would say I still casually play games. Like how? Where do you find the time?
Mostly 1 hour before the sleep, and that's it.
Okay, that's still an achievement,
Yeah, but not every time.
Yeah,
not every day.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Still find the time. That's great. Managing work-life balance with three entities. Props on that. Yeah. Thanks, Patricia. Matic and the whole eFlamingo team, please.
Hi. So yeah, a few words about eFlamingo. eFlamingo represents itself as a social gaming startup where people can compete and win an actual prize playing online games against each other or against anyone in the world. We are supporting Fortnite, League of Legends, Modern Warfare, NBA, FIFA, and Madden, NFL. And if you're a gamer, you can come anytime and bet on yourself, and we'll match up with similar skilled opponent. And yeah, the winner takes it all, minus commission. That's what we are, short. And now, what can I say more? What do you want to know?
Tell me how you came to this. Now you told us what you run, but who are you? What are you? You as a person.
What inspired us? How we started, or what are our backgrounds?
Maybe I'm interested in you. I think I know that you have some surfing and other stuff. How you came? You were quite active in I don't know, sports, right? How you came to esports?
Well, how came esports? Me, Jake, Jan, and John, we were playing online games as a kids, like what we were 15, 16, 17. And we had like 2,500 hours in one online game, with 8 reloaded, right? So yeah, with all these sports, I mean, in the evening, it was dark and we wanted to play games. We are boys, I'm sorry, and girls also play, but and we were playing a lot. And one day, or a few days, we were beating one very famous Big Phoenix clan. It was a professional esports clan who were supposed to be the best at this game at APB Reloaded. And well, our team here, we beat them like what was it, like 50-50?
Yeah, 50% win rate. Yes.
50% win rate, and like we were playing all nights, and then one day my mom comes in my room and said, you know, Matic, are you going to play video games all day, or you're gonna start working and making some money? And I was like, you know, talking to him, and we were like, damn, you know, we beat these guys, but they're getting paid via their sponsors. They're live streamers. They were live streamers, and we were, you know, why we can't make some money too? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're supposed to be the best, but they're not. You know, they just have good equipment, sponsors. I mean, they are very, very good. Don't take me wrong, but so yeah, we were trying to find some solutions this time at that time, but there were no quite good solutions so a few years ago. So that's how we came up with this idea of eFlamingo, and we started working on it slowly. Then we found some competitors, and you know, we were trying to distance ourselves and improve their user experience even more. I mean, our user experience. So well, today we are here with 3,000 registered users. We are starting to scale the product now, and that's it. Now we're here.
Nice. You make it sound, you know, yeah, one day I was playing, then my mom came in, said I need to make money, and then I went and I started to make money. You know? So
Yeah,
you make it fun, you make it sound so easy, you know. we might come back to this later on. Yeah, it's a nice story. So you said a couple of years back, 2 years back, something like that, I guess, right?
Yeah, let's say we started with an idea 2 years ago. 2 years ago. But we started building eFlamingo like a year and a half ago or a year ago, because, you know, we were just a bunch of kids with no money, no connections, no proper knowledge of business, of operations, of anything like that. So I mean, relatively, we came here pretty fast, but yeah, we really needed to go slowly, step by step, and like a puzzles, you know, one thing at a time. Yeah,
cool.
But it was not so hard. Wasn't hard, but it's not easy way. You know, you have to be dedicated, and you need to have a dream, and you need to follow it. And
that's again, keep that thought. Towards the end of today's session, we'll be bringing this back up. Having a dream, having a vision. This is extremely important.
Cool.
Thank you, Matic. Thank all the three of you for the introduction. I'm inviting the audience anytime. Feel free to write questions in the chat. Feel free to chime in and talk about your experience. Interrupt us. This is meant to be as informal as possible. It's meant for us to bond together. Imagine if we were in a room, all of us talking together. You don't just wait for someone to finish. Sometimes you interrupt them, maybe in a polite way, right? But feel free to join in the discussions that we are starting now with the next question. And actually, after the introducing the speakers, the first question of today is related to the impact of the first topic of today, to the impact of the epidemic on esports and gaming. In general, I think most of us agree that the pandemic had an extremely positive impact on gaming itself as an industry, on game development, hardware development, esports as an entertainment industry built around the games industry. All of that went skyrocketing. And I would love to hear now from our guests. So my question is, in your opinion, your personal opinion, what is the main development or the main two developments that you feel that happened this year on a global and on a local scale? So this time, maybe we start with you, Patricia.
Yeah, so on a global scale, the main developments were user engagement. It has been boosted really a lot. Also increase in revenue. Also esports tournaments are broadcasted on linear TV channels, which is really, really great. Also esports stars and other celebrities are investing in esports, and clubs are also creating sports clubs are also creating esports clubs, their own esports clubs. And on the local scene, we also established an esports federation of Slovenia, and we'll already become a members of 2 international esports federations and 1 sports federation of Ljubljana. We also announced the start of national championships, so the qualies are being played like right now. And the first international qualification performance in Taken and PES, and the more and more brands started involving in the scene. So people really learn that gaming or esports is a way of entertainment.
Yeah. Thanks. I agree with all those points. I won't tell too much of my opinion. I'd rather hear also the rest. Yeah, maybe Matic, on your end, what do you feel was the biggest achievement, the biggest development this year?
The biggest achievement or the biggest development. One thing, what we realized, what the pandemic brought us. You know, the pandemic is obviously a very bad thing, but for our industry, at least for us, I mean, people are staying, people are at home, they're playing more games than usual, they're spending more time on their computers and everything, and generally, I think the sport it helped the esports community. I mean, but we can see the growth.
Yeah, it's growing exponentially.
So yeah, and from our side, we just tried to boost up the development and everything and make sure that eFlamingo was live as soon as it was possible.
And to make it work as best as it can, because we know what gamers don't love is some lag or latency,
bugs, you know,
and bugs.
And glitches and so on, right?
Yeah, that's the main thing that irritates us.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, sorry.
Okay, so you said, yeah, the overall worldwide growth in the interest of esports, and locally, of course, you building up your own company from what you see there.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Great. I see some questions already popping up in the chat. Just so that you know, I will address them as we go. I'm making notes. We'll get back when the moment is right. So thanks for posting this. And Nuša, on your end.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like it was said already, the gaming industry has been like increasing rapidly, even more with the epidemic situation. And yeah, we've seen like partnerships with other entertainment sectors like music, sports, television, like Patricia mentioned already. For example, if you remember in the first lockdown, I think Travis Scott concert was held in Fortnite, and this was like really big thing because people from Fortnite and fans of Travis Scott joined to this event and watched it. So
how many attendees do you know?
I think it was about 30 million. I'm not sure.
Something
like that. Yeah, it's a crazy number. And also because there was like I mean, we can be happy that even the esports events were able to continue, at least. For example, like traditional sports, a lot of events were canceled, but since there was no live audience, I think a lot of like production groups turned to producing other content as well for viewers. So there was much more work put into the production to make online viewership higher. Just example, LEC, they made a lot more music videos, just like they released a music album with their KDA band, and whole like world's championship was broadcasted remotely from China, Berlin, and America at the same time. So I think the production value went really up there, and on a global level. Yeah, I'm not sure if I just jump into the local level right now, or
just go ahead. Do go ahead.
Okay, yeah, because I think it's kind of the similar on the local level as well. We have so much online tournaments going on. Ours, P-Byte, Esports Federation of Slovenia, organizing online tournaments which are really high quality because we have now time and we focus on this online tournaments, and also we've increased our production levels because this is something that how we can like adapt to the situation. For example, we added analyst desks on our tournaments and production, so this was something that wasn't there before. We didn't do that before. So also on the local level, there's been like a lot more online tournaments of a really high quality.
I agree with that. Yeah, well said. Maybe you know, now that there is no need to put effort into bringing computers all in one place, there is slightly more time to focus on the experience online. And that's one thing. And the other thing is that you said a lot of production also from other industries or related industries came to esports. The epidemic pushed them. The epidemic might have pushed them. They might not have a choice. Even if they want to survive, they need to go address our public. And it's I completely agree with everything that all of you said. Great. Now that we kind of checked in, warmed up with the context and what's happening today, I will re-welcome everyone. Since my since we started, we got 7, 8, 9 more people. So this is the Slovenia Esports and Gaming Meetup. The point is for us to get to know each other, analyze the opportunities here in the local regional scene, but not only here, also in the global scene, like the global impact that we can make with the people that are here around here and can meet here at these meetups to exchange the knowledge and experience. That said, I'm opening a poll here before we continue with the next question. And this will help us understand what the audience is composed about. And also will help me and the speakers, the guests, that, let's say, tailor the responses to your background. The question is, what describes you best? And we want to kind of understand, do you regard yourself more as a casual, more as a competitive, more as, you know, I'm already an entrepreneur, I'm in an NGO? I on purpose didn't enable multiple answers. That's why you need to select the best, what describes the best. I know that Patricia and Nuša could check probably all of them.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, right. I see. I have 20 votes now in. Just wait for half a minute more, and then I will share with you the results. It's 23 votes, 24 votes. I see no one yet being courageous enough to say I'm a competitive gamer. Just casual gamers here.
Where is Bor?
Where is Bor? Yeah. Bor is a professional. He's an esports professional. Oh. He's above that, you know, don't. Yeah. Great. I think it's 26. Anyone wants to cast their vote in the last second, then I close. Because 26 out of 31, it's really cool. Good. And polling, and we have the results. So approximately a third are fans and casual gamers. I'm really happy that you joined us today, since if you're not that involved into the scene, maybe we will motivate you, we will engage you to get involved with these meetings. And the rest we see esports professionals, 5 of them in here, really good to see. And active in esports NGOs, 3, entrepreneurs, 6 people, and 3 employed at the company. So we have more than I imagined people that are heavily engaged in this meetup. I have imagined more casual, or let's say more competitive gamer, but I see that we are pretty well engaged already in the scene. That's really nice to see. That's really nice to see. Great. Let's continue with the next topic. So if the first one, what have we seen as the development this year, like what we are seeing around us? The second topic is the habits. So what's going to happen in the future? We've seen what's happened this year. The question is now, the topic is, think about what is going to happen next year or in 2 years. Okay, maybe the pandemic will go away. We will maybe get vaccinated and maybe we will solve the issue. But maybe some things will change forever, and some of the industries are already bracing themselves for these changes. So my question is, what is here to stay? What of this impact is here to stay in the long term, also after the epidemic subsides down? And this time we start with you, Matic.
No, thank you. Okay. Well, what we already know is that esports industry is one of the newest and the fastest growing industries out there. So it doesn't matter if the pandemic is going to end very soon or not. We're expecting a tremendous growth in the esports industry. We're expecting that more and more games, more and more people will be playing online games. And since this new generation of us teenagers now will grow up, I think that the ratio between watching and so at least in watching real sports such as football and basketball right now, with esports live streams will come around 50-50 with views. That's what we're expecting, and that's what I can say. Everything. I mean, but it's a little guess. You know, we don't know, but that's what we think.
But it's improving. Even the word gamer is associated with coolness now, as before as it was more as a taboo or someone to bully at, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's more casual and more everyday, and more people are engaging in gaming.
Yeah,
and
so true.
Also these streamers, like professional streamers, they are treated as an athletes. I said
Yeah.
as an e-athletes, and their salaries are compared to professional football players, and their yearly salary is very, very high, and it's coming more and more real and natural to even the normal, other people. Professional, the best Fortnite player, for example, Ninja, is earning around how much? 300K per week.
Yeah, but there's a lot of money, especially if you're the top streamer, especially on Twitch or one of the major sites. I mean, if you look at even the Twitch contract that they had, maybe, I don't know, Dr. Disrespect or anyone that they canceled, it was or when they did the transition to Mixer from Twitch for $10 million, Ninja did, and Shroud, I think. But the platform unfortunately died. So yeah, there's a lot of money here, a lot of money.
And more every day. Yeah. Thanks, Matic and the team. Great. I agree. I will wrap up afterwards. Patricia.
Yes, I think we will see more and more investments, also advertising and sponsorships, and I think this will boost revenue growth. I also think that high school leagues and university leagues will be established, and we will see even higher rise of mobile market because of the lower barrier to entry.
Yeah.
And I hope that we will see even more franchising, because that's a security for investors and teams, and it creates some kind of sustainability. And I also hope that esports companies and others that are involved in the esports and gaming in general will show a maturity and will create a solid foundation for themselves and position well in the market. So yeah, esports gaming will grow after the epidemic for sure.
Yeah, nice, very nicely argumented. Saying will grow is easy thing to say, but telling why, and I agree with all of the points that you mentioned here. I will break my rule of waiting till the last speaker about establishing high school leagues and university leagues. This is starting to become a recurring debate at these kind of meetings, and I'm also really positive that this will happen quite soon. Nuša.
Yeah, in addition to also why the gaming industry is going to grow, I think one big segment is mobile games. mobile games is something that's like such a big part of gaming industry. I think it's like 60% of the whole money that gaming industry makes, it's from mobile games. And this is gonna stay one of the most popular segments because mobile games are easy to play, are simple, easily accessible. And now a lot of people started playing mobile games even though they didn't before. So I think this part is gonna continue to grow, or at least stay as big as it is now. So mobile gaming is a way to look at, also maybe for investors or anyone who's like trying to make his way in gaming. Mobile games are crazy right now. And the other thing, maybe a little bit more from my psychological background, I think a lot of people will continue to work remotely after the epidemic, and because of that, there will become a greater need for balancing work life and free time, which includes gaming as well. So I think this is some habit that people will kind of need to develop to be able to contain this balance between their work life and their free time and their gaming or other technology connected habits. So this part, I think, also will be very important in the future.
Yeah, I agree. We are definitely seeing a rise in mobile, especially in China. China is leading Europe and US on this front. And now, if I'm not wrong, also South America is strongly booming here, like in the mobile industry. Great opinions, great arguments from all three speakers and the supporting speakers at eFlamingo team. What I would wrap up, summarize here, gamer is becoming cool. Gaming generation, there's becoming more and more gaming generations. Also, when we started the company that we're building, we came with the proposition, every year we have 1 year more of people in the market, one generation more that is playing, that understands esports, understands gaming, is not perceived as a negative thing. And I also, this is my opinion, I'm sharing my opinion, but I also believe this phase, Nuša, you're more better to explain this if needed, this perception of games as an obsession, I think we outgrew that. I don't see this so much being such a negative habit, such a overly engaged into games. I don't know. This is maybe my opinion, but Nuša is able to tell better.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that because at this point we still, at Logout, we still see a lot of this misunderstanding of what games bring and what gaming community means. It's not just games; it's the whole community. It's something you're good at and something where you can be proud of. And this is what the gamers and the young gamers see, which their parents usually don't. So maybe, yeah, now when the young gamers now will have their own families, this will be completely different. Yeah. But at the same time, for example, in adults, they still see gaming or games as something like a bad habit, but at the same time they spend a lot of time on social media, they use their phones for work all the time, so it's really like double merits to the children, and they see it that way, and they feel it's like unfair.
Yeah, interesting. And I will use this the start of this your argument for a question from the audience. Thanks, sorry. The question is, did the gaming industry become more introverted because of the pandemic? So how could we interpret that if it became more introverted? If it's more closed to the groups that were already before in gaming? Maybe Nuša?
No, less prone to hanging out with other people.
Exactly.
More staying at home playing just for themselves, not having social interactions with other
What
gamers.
Do you think, Nuša? Did it or did it not?
Tough question, I think. Maybe it's like, yeah, to some extent, yeah, because people are like, we cannot. I mean, yeah, gamers like to hang out on gaming events, and this was a big part that maybe pushed them to go there and hang out with each other. This is gone now. But on the other hand, I think maybe the multiplayer games communities are growing and being even more stronger because of that. Because now everyone seeks like social interactions in some way, and like big part of this can be in games. So I'd say 50-50. But I think it's a really interesting question, and some research could be done on this topic.
And I think that esports gaming was introverted before and not now, because I see that people really missing offline LANs. Gamers are not just like couch or computer potatoes and introverts. I see a number of tweets and people also DMing me that they're really missing offline LANs and they miss hanging out with each other. So I think that gaming esports is not introverted.
Yeah, cool. It will be thanks Nuša and Patricija. So Patricija, you actually answered the next question in line, which was, if the pandemic pushed all events online, will players even want to come together afterwards for offline events again? Because it is an additional commitment to go out of home, out of your couch potato. But you are just saying now that they're actually not couch potatoes, that they they are DMing you and asking you when these events will happen. I also think something along these lines. Likely there will be a group of people who will be more comfortable at home, like always, like it was already before. But those, the majority that really love to hang out, because there is an additional component of that. And I believe that the best connections, or you can make faster connections if you are offline. That's a fact. Online is great, but if you meet in person, you can bond faster. That's a fact. Great. Okay, let's move on to I see quite some nice comments. Okay, I will read this one from Živa. There's another stereotype about gamers that we are all lazy couch potatoes. I apologize, I didn't mean that. There is a lot of people that miss LAN events and conventions and stuff. Yeah, I agree, Živa, that we just made the point with both speakers. Great. If anyone else from the audience wants to chime in and share their experience, feel free to anytime, like I said.
Can I say something else then?
Of course.
I was writing it in the chat before that I think that we are already destigmatizing gaming in general, not just esports. Just with like this epidemic, a lot of like even people who didn't game before tried. And we had games like Among Us and Fall Guys and these casual games that anyone could play. And I think I saw even families playing it together. So that might help a lot with like this stigmas of like gaming being bad, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Živa, you actually gave me just right now an extremely cool idea. Tournaments for families. Huh?
Nice.
the whole family sitting and competing with the neighbors. Oh, this could end badly.
Yeah.
We're gonna destroy some families.
Especially if they play Among Us. No.
Or stopped speaking with their neighbors.
Exactly. Yeah. Maybe they play families together, then get the one block against the other block, and so on. But yeah, but it could be a niche. It could be a niche. People out there, go, Matic, guys, target the families. Okay, good. We have another question, and then from the audience. So Arthur is asking how to connect the offline world with the online world. So I would interpret this, and correct me if I'm wrong, Arthur. We will have the LAN parties in person, and usually only those who are there in person could participate, not the ones who were joining. You could not join from home. Or correct me if I'm wrong. So in this case, when we do go offline for these kind of meetups, I would love when the epidemic is over to invite you all here in the place, but we are already agreed that we will also have the cameras on and online, and we will do a merged kind of thing. How is this doable in let's say, we're saying here about merging the online offline for events, for gaming events, esports events? Maybe so that just don't you, Patricija and Nuša, Matic, he's not an organizer of event, but I would love to hear your thoughts on the topic, Matic and guys there. So, hey, how do you see after the epidemic is over, how will we be able to connect the online and offline? Of course, your platform is only online, but it could be augmented with offline stuff easily, I think.
Well, one thing I see is like live tournaments, but that's already that already exists. But with the live tournament events, we can bring people together. I mean, casual gamers, they can come and join the event even if they're not playing, and not only to play, to watch, but maybe to hang out, you know, to get some food. You know, last time we had the soft opening of Flamingo, it was a live event. We invited investors, friends, actually anyone could join, but you know, it was a pandemic already and we didn't want to, but it was allowed to 50 people at that time, right? Yeah, and it was very, very fun. We had two separate rooms. In one, it was like 4 PlayStations and people were playing for money, of course, via Flamingo. And in the other room, people were just hanging and drinking a little bit, you know, talking to each other. It was a nice mixture of gamers, of of any kind of people, you know. So that's one way of making more live tournaments, and maybe not just advertising them just as a tournaments, but as a place to hang for specific type of people.
We believe that gaming brings people together.
In these times, gaming, I mean, also the investors are looking more and more in gamification and gaming, and it brings attention up to anyone. I mean, all the circles of all the people with different interests. I don't know, lawyers.
For example, all the people, lawyers.
So people with different interests. I mean,
yeah, it's true. It's true.
They might all have one thing in common: gaming. So
yeah, this is a good point that you touched. Yeah, go ahead.
I think that gaming is especially useful for bringing people together now. So I mean, an example: you want to play Warzone with your friends, you get on Discord. Otherwise, you wouldn't. You would get maybe a 2-minute phone call from them. So you get to spend time together like you would in, I don't know, grabbing a coffee or anything, I guess. But you get to just play games, I guess. It's the same. I mean, it is kind of hanging out. So to answer the previous questions, because we didn't, I don't think that gaming is introverted. I think it's everything else than that. It brings people together, especially online. I mean, if we're looking in the real world, it is harder for gamers to connect, stereotypically, I guess. But it brings people together, especially it's easier to connect with someone in an online game, since you have an online persona, you're not there with him, you're not afraid of different factors that you would be in real life, or rejection or anything. So that's all I have to say.
I think some games are like specifically made for that. If you take an example, FIFA or something, it's meant to be played together with your friends at the same time online. So these kind of games already do merge the offline and online and are made for doing that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I agree.
Even to make enemies if you're losing.
I would emphasize here also a good point that you made. It's bringing people from different backgrounds together, and this is something that maybe gamers were not used to. Gamers were hanging with gamers. Now it's changing. Now people who are not gamers are becoming gamers, and not just, of course, for the entertainment aspect of it, but also from the business aspect. That's why I guess you mentioned lawyers, or maybe not, but you know, for building a company, you need all kinds of people, and they need to be interested in your company. They need to know something about gaming. And so it's bringing all of these kinds of different professions now interest into gaming, which is actually opening I see quite some lively chatting and some lively questions, and I'm taking note of the questions. And I will now transcend into, one last thing I wanted to ask you, Patricia. Is there any technical difficulties or any difficulties in organizing an event, both online and offline? I mean, you as you know, the federation, the esports federation, do you see any more issues later on when you will have to handle both, or is it, I don't know, doable without specialty?
We at Twire, we are creating a software where you can produce and stream a tournament, offline or online. It doesn't matter. We will help you. But about the organizing a tournament, if there is any technical difficulties, I don't think that, no.
Not really.
No.
Okay. I also heard about I think also new kind. Thanks, Patricia. Also, new kind of ideas will come up in merging the virtual worlds with the physical worlds in terms of augmented realities, mixed realities, and all this kind of stuff. Dusan, who's happily smoking his shisha, would be able to tell much more about that. Maybe we reserve that for some future meetup, talking about the impact of extended reality on gaming and on esports, actually, in our lives. Great. We'll go in the last question. So we are at the last question. I will cut one short because we had great discussion with the audience. And the last topic, the last question, is about opportunities. So we've been now discussing the global trends. We've been discussing the attitude. We've been discussing what's here to stay. And now the question is, what are the opportunities for? We can talk in general about the industry, but also for the people that are in here. And I will immediately start with a question from the community, from the audience. Let me just scroll back up. Okay, I don't know the name, sorry about that. But the question is, what is the next step for Slovenia in esports to get on a higher level? I could argue, and maybe you can support or counter argue, the Balkans, Serbia, Croatia is slightly ahead of us. Slightly or strongly, depending on which aspect you look at, but the scene seems to be more evolved there, been a couple of years established before us. So looking at Slovenia, what would be the next step here? And in this case, maybe Nuša, what do you feel?
I think the next step is already happening, like the foundation of Esports Federation of Slovenia, which gives an opportunity to legitimize esports, and with that government support, or like we talked about before, high school leagues, school leagues. I think some schools did some kind of tournaments already. It was not like in a league form, but still it is a start. And we see a lot of new organizations, esports organizations establishing, Dragon Esports have been on scene for quite a lot of time, but now we have overall esports, cyber wolves esports, stuff like this. So I think the next step is already happening. And also in terms of production, we are putting in more effort, more value. And also there have been it's been happening with the new jobs, if you can say, maybe not paid yet, but it's getting there. We have people that they do commenting or social managing really seriously, more seriously than ever. They put a lot of time and effort to that, and we have I think some kind of new jobs are slowly establishing in Slovenia as well. Even me, I cannot imagine working as an esports psychologist a few years back, but now this is something that's it's going to be needed, and I'm really able to do it. So I think the step is already happening. Big.
Yeah, yes, I also agree with Nuša. But first of all, players need to be more competitive. I think this needs to be the first step, and Besides that, like Nuša said, there are a lot of opportunities arising. Also, we need to have highly professional talent teams such as casters, analysts, hosts, and tournament organizers. What else? Also, broadcasting crew needs to be really good, and admin and referees are needed and will be needed even more.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing, some professional roles that will help the general public understand the phenomenon that's happening, and it's waiting on them.
Okay, so before I bias my opinion, I will also thanks Patricija. Matic, what do you think is the next step in Slovenia?
I don't know. Maybe conflict. I don't know. Maybe there's not generally as much money in the esports scene as it is here. So I don't know. I think a professional esports team would do as good, at least when it comes to promotion, I guess, since there's a lot of esports teams. We have also a lot of players who are in professional esports teams, or were, I guess. Other thing is maybe we have to, the companies like we are, and with the help of players and everybody else, I think we need to stick together and help the community grow itself, because it's Slovenia at this moment. It's not the most advanced environment, and we can see that on eFlamingo too. Because, for example, in the USA, people have no problems for wagering on themselves. If we take eFlamingo, for example, but in Slovenia, I don't know, they are not ready to put enough money, or they're not willing to bet on themselves when they play on our platform. Because we started here, we wanted to make home players to join, Slovenian players to come first, but it's simply they are not ready to do that so much here.
Yeah, maybe the situation here is not as comfortable as we first thought, and the players are not as comfortable or even knowledgeable about gaming. So it's starting to come here more, like most of the things that come from the West, I guess. So we're still accumulating the process, I guess, here in Slovenia.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think also this was the motivation for the question, what is the next level in Slovenia? Because it's not yet at the level of neighboring countries, maybe. But like Nuša and Patricija already said, oh, welcome back. You are on mute, but no worries.
My Zoom crashed.
No worries, no worries. Cool. We haven't asked you anything yet in this pause. Yeah.
Okay.
So, like Nuša and Patricija said, I think this is already happening. This elevating the whole perception in Slovenia is happening, and also there are opportunities happening in all kind of professional aspects. Maybe we will touch next time because we will be running out of time. I will prolong for 10 minutes, but I don't want to keep you here for 1 more hour. I bet we could discuss easily for 10 more hours here. But I wanted to touch also on the entrepreneurial aspect. So when we're talking about esports, it's not just what's, let's say, on the scene, the entertainment, the organizations, the players that are on the front stage. There is also the whole back scene, the whole entrepreneurial professional ecosystem that needs to be set up. And like I think also Nuša already mentioned, all these kind of professions, it's not just the player, it's the analyst, it's the host, it's the organizer, it's the broadcasting team, it's the admins, the referees, it's the people who are making the federation, the NGOs, društva in Slovenian, the companies. And like you said, for eFlamingo, Matic, Slovenia is a small market. You can have here some prototyping, maybe some dedicated group of fans, but at the end of the day, it's 2 million people, and even this is the mentality. I mean, the number of generations that are supportive of gaming is not that large yet. That's why you can target the global market. Slovenia can be a learning, let's say, field in this kind of sense. So with this, let's say, transition into the business aspect or in the professional aspect, my, let's say, point was there is increased interest, not just from the, let's say, also increased interest from the investors. That's what I want to say. Not just from players want to play more, from people want to see more content, from let's say, having more tournaments, more competitions. There is also increased interest from investors, like heavy interest from investors. In the same way as production needs to be shifted into esports, the same way investors are shifting into esports because they see a big opportunity here. And this brings me to a question that Rok Kos put. By the way, thanks, Rok, for joining us. He's hosting and leading the Games Slovenia conference, indie game development community of Slovenia. He's well knowledgeable of how that business works for the development of games. I'm really happy that he joined in here. And he asked this: you're talking a lot about the esports and gaming revenue, but revenue is growing. But which metrics do we track there? How do we determine that the revenue there is growing? So what is the indicator of revenue in esports and gaming? Because in game development, he says, this is quite easy. More sales of the games, which is more revenue, or more in-app purchases. So buying the games themselves, that's the revenue in the games industry. What's the main influx of revenue here? Patricia, maybe you will be able to tell this.
Definitely sponsorship money. Definitely sponsorship money. It's the biggest revenue influx, or how should I say? And after that, I think that it's professional fees. Media providers. Yeah, media. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's.
But sponsorship is the highest.
Yeah. Is this quite in parallel with traditional sports? I mean, traditional sports also are mostly driven by sponsorship. So is this comparable?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so no surprises here yet. We'll see.
No.
I'm sure in the following years we'll see some twists bringing in some special kind of revenue streams that can't be done in traditional sports, and we'll be here. Some alternative business models. I'm really eager to see that. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. Matic, on your end. So if you look from your perspective, what do you think is the main, let's say, driver of revenue? So what will create more?
I agree with Patricia. I think, it's the media, it's sponsorships.
Here's a niche for a group that contains mostly young people. So I guess anyone that has interest in targeting young people can do it here. So it comes from sponsors, as she said, in media houses. So companies. So yeah, I think everyone is trying to get in here because it's growing and they want to keep up, and it's going to be the next big thing. Even if you want to come to advertising or anything, just getting the message through.
Yeah. Cool. I agree. Nuša, I want to ask you, because I have another question from you from the audience. I will just build up on this point about the revenue. So if it's sponsorships and media providers that bring in most of the revenue, then we could add up the main value is the people who are seeing this. Because if nobody is looking at this stuff, then nobody will pay for sponsoring or buying media on this stuff. So the first key driver here is the sheer volume of audience. And this is growing a lot. This is growing really a lot. So to answer Rok's questions, I think we can wrap up. Yeah, it's sponsorship, it's media, so it's exposure of brands, of advertisers to a very wide community that otherwise they have no idea how to target, how to address, because the traditional channels don't work anymore at all. And so the numbers of people that are watching this is the value driver here, in my opinion. I think we're quite well aligned here. So in the chat, I see a very lively and lovely chat. I can hardly keep up with that. I saw there a specific question targeted at eFlamingo, so I would leave that out, something about competition. So you have now to argument why are you better than competition, but I will leave that for the chat, okay, because it's too specific to discuss here about everyone. So you can scroll back there. But there was a question for Nuša, among other questions, a question for Nuša. So in your experience, what is the hardest part of being a professional player? Continuing, is it mental stability? So, or maintaining a healthy lifestyle? Or is this maybe the same thing? Not sure. What would you say to people saying that esports players cannot be professionals since all they do is play computer games all day? So maybe it's two-part question. The first one, what is the hardest part of being a professional player?
I think mental stability is kind of the hardest one, just because a healthy lifestyle is kind of now become like really more common thing. There's no more stereotypes that gamers need to, or the professional players need to play 12 hours per day to get there. And there's been a lot of emphasis on how to kind of take a lot of breaks, have a good sleeping schedule, have a good nutrition, and that 5 hours per day is completely enough to get there if you put everything into those 5 hours. It's not how much you train, but how you train. So I think this part is kind of
quality, not quantity.
Quality, not about quantity. Exactly. So I think this part has been pretty well established with the players already. The mental stability is something that they kind of don't know how to get to it, because it starts with knowing yourself, knowing how you react to things, knowing what your thoughts are, what your approach is. And when you learn all that about yourself, then you can only go to how to now stop my negative thoughts flowing, how to now stop tilting, how to now control my emotions and stuff like this. So I think maybe this is the part that's kind of harder for them, because they don't know that much about it. And yeah, just the second part, what would you say about people saying that esports players cannot be professionals since all they do is play computer games? Yeah, I mean, I think the professionals mostly at least in those really good high organizations where they take care for them and for their health, they play it 8 hours per day. That's like a job, you know. It's the same amount of hours that you do at your job, and you can, if you're an accountant, you also sit behind the computer for 8 hours a day. So I think this is kind of now been it's getting to be more common knowledge that they don't need to play 12 or more hours per day to get there, even though some of them still do, but I think at the highest level this is like
going away.
Yeah. They have physical practice, they have fitness, they have masseuses, they have healthy cooks and what stuff like this. So yeah,
I agree. We've been hearing the first days of professional esport coming from Korea and let's say East Asia. It was, you need to play all day long, you need to live in a gaming house, you need to be like 12 hours a day. You are right. Also the feeling that we are getting, this is kind of going away. This is not the mantra anymore. Now it's quality. And I really love the point that you made. Okay, how to get better at playing games? Yeah, it is hard. Definitely, it is hard. You, at some point, you need a coach, you need some analyst, you really need to practice teamwork. But it's kind of known what you need to do to get help, or you know what you can do to get better. But mental stability is actually, it's really one of the fields that we are just now starting to scratch, to deal with. And it's interesting. Previous week we had the Counter-Strike meetup, and again this was brought up that the mental stability of the individual is extremely difficult to achieve in the broader sense, either in terms of motivation or in terms of team sportsmanship or team play. You know, how an individual functions by himself, by herself, or how they function in a team. And maybe that's a good topic for discussion next time, you know, because that's a good one. The coaching of an individual or coaching a team, right? This might be slightly different. You will tell us maybe on another occasion. Thanks, Nuša. I'm launching another poll, and then I will slowly wrap up. We are now 10 minutes above 1 hour. So the second poll is, now we biased your answers a little bit here. The question is, what best describes esports and gaming for you personally? So what this is for you personally, not what the industry sees it, not what the market sees, not what your neighbor. What is it for you? And this is in the spirit about opportunities, about doing something in this field, about elevating the status here in Slovenia or in the region, and doing something together. I have 25 votes already. That's great. I will leave it open for half more minute. In the meantime, I had one more question, but I will leave it for further meetups. So if we discuss now about the opportunities here, the last question was how to seize these opportunities. So what to do, who to turn to, how can we get together and build something as either as a team or the audience as an individual. If they want to achieve something, what can they achieve, where should they go, and what should they do? So maybe we'll leave this for the rest, because otherwise we will go over time. Okay, let's see the results. Sharing the results. As you can see, we have a couple that are already doing it as their business, their daily income. Quite many that they have it as a passionate hobby, which I hope we might motivate it to even think a bit further, to that it's an opportunity to make a living out of it. And given the discussion that we had, now it's the time. Now it's actually happening. If you want to try it, now it's a good time to try. That's definitely the case. And I don't mean it here. Also, as you've seen from the conversation, it's not about being just a professional player. It's much more. There is many more opportunities besides just that. Many more. You know? That's a quite good results. And of course, for quite many people, it should still be the source of entertainment and fun. And as we said before, those who enjoy esports and gaming for entertainment and fun, like playing the casual game or watching the finale, or not just the finale, but also the qualifiers, these are the ones that are actually spinning the whole industry. More sponsors because of more viewership, more sponsors, more media buy, more money for the teams, more money for the organizations, more money for companies launching their products. Excellent. And with this, I'm finished with the official questions. So I would invite now the audience, not just to write in the chat, but let's hear your voice. We can take some more time. Who will be? Is there any brave one? Otherwise, I will pick one. I know quite some faces. Don't go hide now. So any questions for the three hosts? Otherwise, I will go pick them up in the chat.
I have something for Nuša.
Go.
I was actually wondering what exactly is that you do, like what kind of work it is. Like, do you just talk to the players? Do you like coach them? Like, on what kind of work is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a little bit. Okay, yeah, I'm unmuted. It's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of talking to them, asking the right questions so they can discover all these things that I said about themselves. And it's a part also of psychoeducation. So explaining how does the brain work, what are the background theories on how to control your emotions, why is it important to be in control of your body, why do breathing techniques work, stuff like that. So it's a little bit of all, and then usually I give them some homework to do, something to try out, things to experiment with, and then we come back, see what works, what not. Of course, different things work for different people. Yeah, so this was now my part when I was working with individuals and teams. But from January on, I plan to be even more involved with organization as a whole. So not just like having sessions with players, but with staff as well. How is their relationship like? How can we communicate? Stuff like this. So to go even more involved into staff, coaching staff, organization as a whole.
And in which clubs do you work?
I'm currently just contracted just as a player, so I'm just working with TTW. It's an Austrian organization, and I work with Rocket League. I've worked with Rocket League previous split. Now I'm going to be working just with League of Legends and Counter-Strike. I've been just doing this for a year now. I started in January, so I've started with Aquilibritas Esports, and then I moved to Granite Gaming, a Swedish organization, and now I've been in with TTW for the winter split, and now they decided that they want to keep me for the future, so we're gonna prolong the contract for January and the next split at least, and then we'll see from there.
Congrats.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
And thank you for the answer.
And thank you for the question.
Great achievement. Anybody else? Otherwise, I have a ton of questions, but anyone else? Okay, I have one question for Matic. You mentioned in between that you are now aiming to grow, to expand, right? To grow your customer base. So you said in Slovenia you can hardly find the market. Slovenia is a small market. So where do you plan to grow?
Yeah, no. So since we had our soft opening, we were trying. We were doing acquiring users via Slovenian streamers. But like you said, that because it's a small market, we wanted to test our MVP. So like the first time Flamingo was live, and when it was working and barely tested, we started doing live streams with Slovenian streamers. For the same reason that that we do not make a big mistake and go with some big guy from USA and embarrass ourselves in front of all the people, since we had troubles. So I don't know, with servers and stuff. We are not aiming for Slovenia or Balkan. We are aiming for US market. And when we will be fit, we will attack it full power with influencers, with big campaigns on social networks and others stuff. So we are in that phase now that everything works as it should. Of course, the platform is developing and changing every day. I bet if you come on Monday and one time and on Friday, the other time, it will look completely different. Much better, of course. And now we will attack the markets. So part by part, country by country, very focused targeting.
Okay.
And you're welcome to join eFlamingo.io anytime too and try it out for yourself. We want to hear your feedback to the Slovenian gaming community.
Yeah. See, that's why I wanted actually emphasize here. You might not get a market here because it's not big enough, but you might get co-workers. You might get very good talent here. You might get really good feedback. You might get very enthusiastic people helping you develop the stuff, giving you feedback, and then with that, take it to the world. Because that's the point. That's the whole point of us meeting here. I'm pretty well confident that we have all the skill, all the potential, all the motivation needed that we can make really a global impact, even if it's professional teams or if it's companies or products like yours,
And we're looking forward for your feedbacks, really. And it's pretty easy. You can contact us at any time. We're using Intercom plugin on our website, and our guy right here, Jean, will reply to you in under 5 minutes. So.
He's already replying. he can't be speaking here because he has to reply.
Exactly.
Does he sleep?
Very little. We feed him on G Fuel and cocaine, so he's good.
yeah. Leave it that for the off record, okay?
We'll never say that.
Yeah. I think I saw. Thanks, Matic and team. I think I saw a raised hand from X Pink Unicorn. Yeah. And be brave, unmute yourself.
It was not raise hand. It was mistake for it was mistake. Yes.
Okay.
No problem.
No worries. No worries. I have one. Anybody? Any other question? I have one last question, but please go ahead. I think we will get in the mood as the months go by. Next month I will go one by one on each image, and you will have to say something. I'm kidding. Please don't. One question from the chat, and Arthur, this will be for Patricia. Arthur asked, this was in the topic when we were talking about having teams, professional teams, professionalism in Slovenia to a higher level. The question was, you can get players from anywhere in the world. In the sense, what's the problem? I'm not Slovenian yet I'm here. I know he's a friend from Poland. I'm not Slovenian yet I'm here. So for building a team, it's not really necessary to have local players. Is it or is it not? What is your opinion, Patricia, on this topic? There is $3 now in the chat. The issue might be money. Depends where you source the players from. You are on mute, by the way, Patricia.
Yeah, well, still, club has to be established somewhere, and the country where it's established, then the club there is coming from. So, yes, we Slovenian teams can have international players and everything, but still, like I said. Players need to evolve, need to become more competitive, and we need to create some kind of good atmosphere, competitive atmosphere around it, also with clubs.
I agree. I agree. So maybe those of us that are more entrepreneurial here, we make a really good team, good atmosphere, good structure, and then we buy the players.
Sure. With I mean, if someone needs help with establishing esports club, let me know. I'm here. Send me a message. And
she's the guru. She's the guru of
I will help you with the administrative stuff.
It's a commitment. Yeah, it's a commitment. Yes. Yeah, so you are quite in a good position at talking about establishing clubs, and maybe this will be a dedicated topic in one of the next meetups. Any last questions from anyone?
Sorry to interrupt. eFlamingo have a gift for everybody that is here today. If you want to come and join our platform, so you can give us some feedbacks, you can come and just type in the intercom ZAM 2020, or just come. You came from this conference, and you will receive $5 on your account, and you can try it as much as you want, and we'll be very happy to hear from you what you like and what you don't.
Okay, thanks. Can you write maybe the code in the chat so that it's clear? You said ZAM.
Of course. Yes.
ZAM.
Free money, yes.
People already have. Yeah. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Okay, with this we are nearing the end. I would love to discuss the chat with you, and let's do it next month. So in the new year in January. So first of all, a brief summary. We discussed about our sentiment towards the whole esports and gaming industry because of the epidemic. So what is driving it up, and what will be in the future? Our kind of, let's say, speculations, but it's based on quite good arguments from what we heard. We discussed the developments here in Slovenia. We discussed the opportunities that are happening in Slovenia, but also touched on worldwide increased interest from all spheres of the business, and also from even lawyers we heard, and from the community itself. So an increased interest, and about the opportunities we'll discuss in the future. That said, I'm pasting 3 links in the chat. So the first link is I kindly ask you to give us feedback on today's event. quickly and also give us suggestions how to improve in the future and what you want to discuss in the future. So it's not just the format of the event, but it's also the content. I think we got quite some great ideas and good discussion points for next time. And then the second link is the meetup group. Join there. You will get the notifications when we automatically, if you don't opt out, on when the next meetup is going to happen. And there we have the Slack channel, which is for discussing and for internal. Yeah, we're building the community around there. Still deciding Slack or Discord. There are pros and cons on one and the other. We'll see. For now, it's Slack. In the future, we'll see. Quick announcements. This meetup, the next one will be likely towards the end of January, second half of January. In the week before Christmas, 22, 23rd of December, we have Women in Gaming Meetup, hosted and led by Živa, with very cute ears. and with cute ears, but quite a very intriguing topic, very engaging topic. She will tell you more about that. And in the day after that, we have also League of Legends meetup, which is focused on that community, on what's happening in there. So if these meetups, the gaming and esports, are the overarching, the most professionally entrepreneurial oriented, this is where we want to keep the core of those who are working with this in Slovenia. Those specific meetups are then intended for specific topics in gaming or specific games and specific sub-communities. That said, thank you everyone for joining in today. Really happy for all these new faces, and I hope that we see each other next time. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you
for the invite.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
And thanks all the hosts and all the audience and all the questions. Sorry about that.
All right. Enjoy. Bye.
Thanks. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.